New Journal and Guide. Subscribe today.
If you started off talking about jobs. We need to make sure we have a well-educated workforce. That is our competitive advantage in the global economy, well-educated workforce. Now, some have said, well, if you put money in education, you won't get that benefit for several years. But one of the things that happens immediately is your community colleges and start getting some money. And nobody in the community college is making any obscene amount of money. Every dollar you put into community college means you've got some adjunct professor or some food service person, somebody that didn't have a job before will have a job. And so the money will not only help long term, but all that money is serious job creation. But like I said, if you want to lose the purpose for which the money was originally appropriated, you start sending everything in block grants. But there is one, when you start talking about getting the localities, a lot of people recognize that when you send it to the states, there's a lot of slippage before
a lot of slippage.
The point I think that Bobby was making, though, with respect to President Reagan and his the block grants and then the eligibility requirements, it did strike me that I think you've described a large component of the Affordable Care Act. I don't call it Obamacare. That's been a point of mine. But there is a tremendous amount of that, basically mandates to the states that aren't funded. And I think every state is having to wrestle with this. Now, I think it's critical, too, that we talk about the actual policies that are being put forth by both parties with respect to job creation. My first job that I ever owned, my first business I started, I think I was 21 or 22, was a cleaning business. My wife Terry and I had more going out than we had coming in, and that was not a good situation. We were deficit spending, you might say, and we started a cleaning business. We hired two people. She hired me, and I hired her. The business is called Best Services, and we cleaned. We literally did the cleaning at a commercial building, and so I've been an entrepreneur a long time, and it is very difficult for me to reconcile the administration's position on energy, which is so important. I really believe, and I think the record would reflect if we ever got the C-SPAN tape, I think when the president said, I'm an all of the above president, wind, solar, all of it, I think I was truly the first person to jump up, because for 25 years, all my adult life, I really believed that we need to move toward energy independence. I cannot reconcile that with the administration's policy of coastal Virginia energy. There's a full moratorium coming through Secretary Salazar. Now, I ran on a platform in a very environmentally friendly way and safe way, leveraging coastal Virginia energy. I ran on it, Governor McDonnell ran on it, the House of Delegates has approved it, the state Senate has approved it. The will of the people of Virginia, I'm not saying that all 8 million of us agree on that, but overwhelmingly we do. And through Secretary Salazar, full moratorium on coastal Virginia energy. I know the studies are out there, 18,000 local jobs, many of which we could make sure go to inner city and to revitalize inner city education and give opportunities for our young people. So I don't question whether those who disagree with me want to create jobs. I do question the wisdom of some decisions, coastal Virginia energy being one of them, because I know we need more tax revenue. And I'm like, let's help unleash the greatest job-producing engine the world's ever known. And it is not the federal government, it's the American entrepreneur. And I think we ought to unlock that great potential and make them feel like they really can do it. And I saw on myself watching the floor debate where a fellow on the other side say, hey, there's no evidence that regulations don't hinder job creation. There's evidence here that regulations enhance job creation. And I was just, I thought, not the world that I've known. Now, we need some regulations. I'm not a civil libertarian, what is it, the Libertarian Party, rather. Civil libertarian party, where there's just kind of like no laws, no regulations. No, we need regulations. We need the EPA. I made that clear. I do think they've been too aggressive, though. And so when I vote to cut it back a bit, because it was creative type of approaches that Merrick described, not these zero-sum games where, well, if you reduce Pell Grants, that means you're not for the poor. No, it's because I've had a president of a university, at Virginia University, come by and say, Congressman, you need to know that some people are just stealing us blind on these things. If you cut it, just really focus in on the waste and the fraud, the people who are getting these $5,500 checks and never going to class.
Well, that's a regulatory issue, though. That's a regulatory issue, and it's not that the folks don't need that money. They should get it. Now,
Not the people who are buying
we
the car
need
with
to
it.
tighten up on who gets the money.
I'm with you.
All right, that's what we need to do. I wouldn't cut that program.
I agree.
This production has been brought to you by Image Entertainment.